There's a moment in every great player's story when everything changes. For Neymar, it wasn't a slow decline. It wasn't age. It wasn't form. It was a game. One game that cracked the illusion of immortality. What happened in that match? And how did it quietly begin the downfall of a player once destined to rule world football? Today, we're looking back at the games that didn't just bruise Neymar's body. They broke his legacy, piece by piece. Chapter 1. The Rise of a King. There was a time when Neymar wasn't just next up, he was the one. He came out of Santos like a glitch in real life. Rainbow flicks, no-look passes, impossible goals, all before he turned 20. He led Santos to their first Copa Libertadores since Pelé. And in Brazil, they called him the new king. By 2013, he joined Barcelona. At first, people doubted if he could play alongside Messi. By 2015, he was part of the deadliest front three football had ever seen. Messi, Suarez, Neymar, MSN. Together, they won the treble. Neymar scored in the Champions League final, and for the first time, people genuinely asked, is this the guy who takes the Ballon d'Or from Messi and Ronaldo? But then, he left. In 2017, Neymar shocked the world. Paris Saint-Germain paid €222 million, the biggest transfer in football history, to make him the centerpiece of their project. The goal was clear: escape Messi's shadow, win the Ballon d'Or, and bring PSG the one thing they'd never had, a Champions League. But that dream didn't last long. Chapter 2. The fracture begins. On February 25, 2018, PSG played Marseille in Le Classique. Neymar was brilliant, until he wasn't. With 15 minutes left, he landed awkwardly after a challenge. At first, it looked like nothing, but then the stretcher came, the tears came. Diagnosis: a fractured fifth metatarsal in his right foot. The timing: horrific. Just 10 days later, PSG would face Real Madrid in the Champions League round of 16, their biggest test of the season. Neymar didn't play, Paris Saint-Germain lost, and just like that, their European dream was over. The most expensive player in history watched it from the stands, but it wasn't just one injury. Fast forward to January 2019, almost exactly 1 year later. Same injury, same foot, same month, same match. Paris Saint-Germain versus Strasbourg in the Coupe de France. Neymar injured his metatarsal again, out for 10 weeks, misses another Champions League knockout stage, this time against Manchester United. What happened next was even worse. On March 6, 2019, United pull off a historic comeback in Paris. Paris Saint-Germain are eliminated on away goals. Neymar isn't just injured, he's fuming. He posts on Instagram calling the referees a disgrace. UEFA bans him for 3 European matches. Then comes summer 2019. Brazil are hosting the Copa America. Their golden boy has a point to prove. But in a friendly just days before the tournament, Neymar goes down again, this time with a torn ligament in his ankle. He misses the entire Copa. Brazil go on to win it without him. Chapter 3. The mental spiral. At this point, Neymar wasn't just dealing with injuries, he was battling something deeper. The pressure had shifted. He was no longer the future of football. Now he was the guy who's always injured. The guy who dives. The guy who can't deliver when it matters. In 2018, he was the most fouled player at the World Cup. He was hacked, stomped, targeted. And when he reacted, the world turned it into a meme. The Neymar role went viral. Late-night shows mocked him, commercials parodied him. But the truth? Neymar was in pain. And not just physically. He started clashing with fans, getting red cards, punching the air at critics. He even said, "There were times I didn't want to play anymore. I just wanted to go home." And while he struggled, another narrative began to form at PSG. Mbappé, younger, faster, French, healthier. Suddenly, Neymar wasn't the golden boy anymore. He was the expensive veteran who couldn't be trusted in April. Chapter 4. The final blows. But Neymar wasn't done yet. In 2020, PSG made a run to the Champions League final, their first ever. Neymar was electric. He torched Atalanta. He danced past RB Leipzig. He looked like the Neymar of old, joyful, confident, alive. But in the final against Bayern Munich, he vanished. Not because he played poorly, but because Bayern played perfectly. They smothered him, cut off every pass. PSG lost 1-0. Neymar cried on the pitch, again. It felt like the football gods were laughing at him. Still, he kept trying, but the setbacks kept coming. In the 2022 World Cup, he started strong. But in Brazil's first match against Serbia, he took a heavy tackle, swollen ankle, ruled out for the group stage. He came back in the knockouts and scored one of the best goals of the tournament, an extra-time masterpiece against Croatia. But once again, Brazil lost on penalties. Another tournament, another breakdown, another missed moment. Neymar broke down in tears. He said it might have been his last World Cup, and then, quietly, the door closed. In 2023, Neymar left Europe. No press conference, no farewell game. He signed for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Still only 31, but already treated like a veteran on a farewell tour. And then, just weeks later, another injury. This time, his ACL and meniscus, gone again, for the rest of the season. Chapter 5. Reflection. This wasn't just one injury. This wasn't one bad decision. It was a timeline of heartbreak. From Marseille 2018 to Serbia 2022, Neymar's story has been a collage of brilliance interrupted. The talent was never in question, but sometimes talent isn't enough. Sometimes the body doesn't cooperate. Sometimes the weight of expectation is heavier than the ball itself. And that's the tragedy of Neymar. Not that he failed, but that he was never allowed to finish what he started. So let me ask you, was Neymar overrated or just overburdened? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you still believe in the magic of Neymar, leave a like. We're not done telling stories like this. Subscribe for more.